Please turn off all cell phones. The agenda of the Pumpkin Lake Zoning Board of Adjustments, August 22nd, 2023. The following is the agenda for the regular meeting of the Pumpkin Lake Zoning Board of Adjustments. The meeting is to be held in the Municipal Building, 25 Lenox Avenue, on Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023, beginning at 8 o'clock p.m. A written advance notice as required by NJSA 10:4-1 etc. has been provided of this meeting at least 48 hours in advance of today. Given the date, the time, the date, and location, and to the extent known at the time of the agenda of this meeting. Such notice stated that formal action may or may not be taken. This meeting will be video recorded and will be broadcast for later viewing for the public. The notice was posted on the bulletin board outside the offices of the municipal clerk, reserved for this and similar announcements, provided to the Suburban Trends, the newspaper designated by the council and planning board to receive such notices, and filed with the borough clerk. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oath of office, we have none. Can I please get a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Hunt?
Here.
Mr. Abate?
Here.
Curran? Here. Mr. Koss?
Here.
Ms. Bernstock is absent. Mr. Rowan?
Here.
Mr. Baig?
Here.
Mr. Nook is absent. Mr. Luciani is absent. Mr. Fagula?
Here.
And no Councilman Anosa.
Okay, minutes of the regular meetings for July 25th, 2023. Everyone had an opportunity to read those minutes? Anybody have any corrections or anything else to say about the minutes? If not, can I please get a motion to accept the minutes?
So make a motion, we accept.
Second. Roll call, please.
Okay. Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Abate?
Yes.
Ms. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Koss?
Yes.
Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Mr. Baig?
Yes.
Mr. Fagula?
Yes.
Okay.
A bunch of correspondence from the Borough of Wayne, Oakland, ordinance from Bloomingdale, that have been notated on the minutes. So we'll move right to the application BOA 23-05. Renee Sierra, are you present? Please come forward.
Good evening, Lindsay Janelle on behalf of Renee Sierra.
I'm not sure what it is.
This is Miss Donna Bullock. She's our engineer, if you want to swear for him.
Please raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last, please.
Donna M. Bullock, B-U-L-L-O-C-K.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Miss Bullock, very quickly, can you just give us your credentials, please?
Yes, I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey for 27 years now. I've provided testimony in front of many, many boards, mostly in Oceans and Monmouth County. All of the zoning boards, planning boards, or whatever I'm needed for. And I'm a graduate in NJIT, and my license is current.
Thank you.
So by way of background, we did present on July 25th, 2023. Just so that everybody is aware, this is a subject property that was destroyed by fire over a year ago. The applicant is attempting to rebuild the house. The house was deemed a total loss by the insurance company. When we appeared before you on July 25th, there was right out of the gate a couple questions on the plans. which is why we are back here today, hopefully with plans that are acceptable to the board. So to keep things moving, I'm going to ask Ms. Bullock to present her testimony regarding the engineering aspects of this, and then she will be available for any questions, and then, we'll proceed from there.
Okay.
I would like to enter into exhibit a handout that I'm going to be giving called Plot Plan Exhibit. Lot 21, Block 4500, Borough of Pompton Lakes, dated 8/22/23. And there is a handwritten correction on the handout in purple that I just noticed right now.
Mark that, that's be exhibit A1.
A1, yes. So I'm going to pass this up.
1, 2, 1 down.
I'm sorry.
Gets the
Hi.
pressure.
Hello. So here's a couple for you guys.
We can.
Move around. Share.
They're the most important. Andrew?
I'm pretty yours most important.
Yeah, well,
There's a couple there. Share that one there. Everyone have one now?
Lindsay, did you want to change anything up there? I have everything on the screen too, if you want to change anything. You can
Okay.
zoom in, zoom out. The mouse is right there.
Okay.
Yeah, and just use it right on the screen, you can make, yeah.
Oh, I see, okay. So, if you look at the handout that was just provided, which we're calling Exhibit A1, which is the plot plan, and it's also,
No, it's not.
oh, no,
It's not up there.
oh,
This is an exhibit handout just for tonight
okay,
that I prepared for this evening. It was not submitted. It's intended to be for discussion for tonight. So what I'd like to bring your attention to is, this is a plot plan of the proposed, the existing and proposed structure, where we see that we have the proposed addition, extension of the garage on the westerly side of the property, and we see the proposed addition to the rear corner of the building as an addition, and then we know that it's going to be a two-story residential dwelling. What I'd like to point out is that we have offsets for of 3.4 as shown on the plan, from the common property line to our building corner. And we surveyed the adjacent properties' building corners at the time of the survey, and the distance to, from the property line to the building on lot 22 is 4.73. So if we add those two together, we get 7 feet. So this exhibit shows that there are 7 feet between the both of the buildings, in the existing condition and in the proposed condition. I also note with the error, it's a 1-foot overhang, which is shown on the architectural plans. Sorry, my draftsman wrote 2.2, don't know why. So I marked that off and just put that we have a 1-foot overhang as provided on the architectural plans in elevation.
yes, the revised plans that you were provided show it is only a 1-foot, the architecturals show only a 1-foot overhang on the roof.
So what we're proposing for this application, to just summarize, we have existing conditions variance of lot area where 15,000 square foot is required, and the existing area is 6,578. The lot width requirement is 75. The existing conditions variance is 50 feet, and the two side yards are the variances that we're requesting. 10 foot is required for the side. We have a 4.6 foot in the existing condition, and we have a 4.5 in the proposed condition, so that's a new variance that we're requesting. And on the westerly side, we have 10 foot required, we have 3.3 as just discussed, and we're asking for a variance for the 3.3 for the extension of the garage moving in the southerly direction toward the roadway. Also, there's a request for building coverage. What's required is 25%. The existing dwelling was 22, and the proposed dwelling is asking a variance relief for 28.9%. So those are the variances, those are the distances between the homes. You know, on the adjacent lot to the west. I'm open to any questions if anyone
Sure.
wants to.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Just for clarification, on the westerly side, it says 3.3 feet. Is that from the roof overhang, or is that from the footprint?
I'm so sorry. That was the whole reason why I did it. Setbacks are always from the foundation. When surveyors get setbacks, it's not from the building material, it's not from overhangs, it's from the foundation at ground level. And that's common for all professional land surveyors guidelines.
Okay, is that, although the ordinance says any part of the building.
Right, but if the ordinance says any part of the building, the intent is to be at the foundation wall, because we have no idea what kind of siding someone's gonna put up. So when we lay out a house, we always give the dimension of the proposed setback to the foundation wall. We don't know if they're gonna have siding and I'm making this up because I'm not an architect, that's gonna be 2 inches thick or 4 inches thick. We have no idea if the overhang is gonna be 9 inches or if it's gonna be 1.5 feet. As surveyors and professional engineers, and whenever we ask for an ordinance setback, that building setback is to the foundation wall.
It's not as I know it.
As I know it.
I mean,
I've never had it any other way for,
Well, the point that we're trying to understand clearly then, without question then, is that with the overhang then, instead of 3.4, we're at 2.4, is that correct?
that would be correct if that's
Thank you.
how your ordinance
Thank you,
reads.
thank you.
Okay.
See that?
Okay. Continue.
That was all I had really, just to see what more information you needed from me.
we're here to answer questions from your perspective.
Okay, so based on what your testimony you just gave us, so the actual overhang is now is closer to the property line than the original plan showed. Is that correct?
Right, and the overhang is the ridge line, the roof.
That's
So
correct.
it's in the V configuration, if you're looking at it to
Mhm.
the east.
Mhm.
So the overhang would be at the back side of the residential home,
Mhm.
come up to a point at the top of the peak ridge, and it would come down to the front.
Right.
The rest of it would be the siding, which would be inches away from the foundation wall, and at ground level, you have the 3.3 feet to the foundation wall at ground
Okay.
level.
One of the things that we also talked about was the letter that we got from the fire department expressing concern of the closeness of the property to the property line and also fire conditions.
And we
Would you
did.
care to comment on that?
Yes, obviously the engineer cannot comment on that
Right.
because she is an engineer. However, I do have a letter from the architect saying that with the new 1-hour fire rated walls, that in his opinion, this would not be an issue. We think that that is a good compromise to provide their 1-hour fire rated.
And is there something
Is that
about
letter-
separation distance as well?
You have it.
It's in part of the packet.
I gave it to you.
Yep.
The letter from, Babula Architecture dated
Mhm.
dated August 17th. Yes, the, are you in the code?
Yes, I believe I believe also reading the letter, just reading the letter myself, it's the fire rating wall, it is good for 0 to 5 feet, for that 1 hour wall, if you read the architect's, letter.
And then he says the distance between the dwellings is at least 6 feet. That's all we're discussing.
Is this true, the distance between the two?
Well, your testimony that you just gave,
I'm reading
you're saying that it's
as well.
4.73 feet.
Well, that's from the property line, not from dwelling to dwelling.
Yeah, not from dwelling to dwelling.
Am I missing that? Doesn't it say dwelling? And that points to that dwelling, correct?
4.7, that seems to, yes.
Is that right? Am I missing that?
Yeah, the top 4.73 feet, where does that, right and the left, what do they touch?
That's to the property line.
Yes, so the 4.73 is from the corner of the dwelling on the adjacent lot to the common property line between the two. And then the distance from the common property line to the dwelling of our property is 3.4. So if you look at the bottom, it's pretty small. If you look
I
at the
see it.
bottom of your handout,
Okay.
it gives a total. But now, based on your ordinance's requirement that the overhang is considered in the setback, that would be 6 feet, would be the distance from our overhang to the adjacent dwelling. But we don't know what that adjacent dwelling's overhang is, because we're not, surveyors are only allowed to locate the extreme foundation bottom of houses. We don't go to that extent when it's,
Can I get clarity on the drawing that shows the garage showing a setback of 3.3?
yes,
Okay, is that to the foundation?
yes, they're all.
But the garage shows an overhang as well. And I believe the existing garage has an overhang already.
Right, but we don't survey the overhangs. Like I said, surveyors
Okay,
only get.
so the
building-
existing is only, again, 2.3, where the garage is.
As per your ordinance, as you say, I agree.
Okay?
I agree with your findings. But again, surveyors aren't permitted to locate the siding or structures, or like if a chimney is on the side of a house, it's not required to be within the setback, because we have no idea how thick or wide it is. It's not how we calculate building setbacks when we're doing surveys. At least as New Jersey rules.
What other
Township.
structures? How about steps or porches?
Steps or porches. They are not included in the building setback. Unless, the porches are, I'm sorry, steps are not. Based on what town, but porches are, of course. Porches have to be within the building setback because they're a part of the main structure. They're one cohesive structure. So as you see on here, on our plan, we show a rear setback to the proposed covered deck, or the deck to remain, from the rear property line to the covered deck. We don't pass the deck and then get it to the rear of the dwelling or the foundation wall. We stop at the structure that is considered to be what's to be up in the upland buildable area of the setback requirements.
So I'd just like to say that in terms of looking in the neighborhood, I just find this a little bit ambitious. I find that it's a precedent that could become dangerous. You're dealing with a lot of extra material that can burn. This is a situation where there already was a fire. There's a lot of issues with ingress as far as if there was a fire in the back, as far as getting equipment to the back. I just can't find how I can support this application.
Well, that doesn't create precedence. So if this house were to be built, it wouldn't create any precedence. It's on a case-by-case basis.
Precedence would be that we approve something and then everyone else wants us to approve it. And this is
That's not-
very that is what I'm saying to you as
Okay,
precedent.
I understand that that actually doesn't create any legal precedent.
Let me jump on there. An applicant will always say, it's the same as everybody else. So to that extent, yes, they will use it. The same, you looked at the other houses and you said they're about the same. That, to the extent that is precedent, it doesn't mean it's binding, but I think maybe, another way of saying is that they will, other people in the neighborhood may use this as an example to justify their own side yard setback variances.
But under the MLUL, it doesn't actually create a legal precedent. So I can only attest us to a legal.
Noted. Anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah, my concern is the same, the fact that, the fire chief, is not in favor of the application. We approved this, and the same problem. Someone else comes with something that he says he doesn't approve of, and then they say, but you approved this one. And it's too close. I have a problem, that's my problem.
Okay. Mike? Anything on that? No?
Do you have any recommendations that maybe we can talk about to tone down some of the features? I mean,
The house has to be, we want to work with the board. We're not trying, but we want some feedback other than we don't like it and it's too big and it's too close. Because if we actually need, and you know this, council, we need a legal reason why it's gonna be denied, that we can take and say, okay, this is how we would change it. I mean, I can't just have an opinion, oh, we don't like it.
They have, currently, the concern has been a safety-related concern, that there was a fire previously. Fires that are really close to other structures will light those other structures on fire. So it is in order to set back, one of the reasons is aesthetic, the other one can be safety. They have, from my understanding, they have expressed concern based upon the fire department,
Okay.
saying this is too close. That's currently,
so then if this house next door caught on fire, it's too close to our house now, and it would do the same thing if this house never caught on fire. So it would be the same precedence.
there's
They're too
no
close together.
precedence, you have to deal with what's in front of you.
Okay, good, that's exactly why there's no precedence. What we're trying to say is what if we don't put a second story over where the garage area is and have the second story in the 10 feet where the allowable setback is? Modify
I have
the
no vote there,
architecture.
they're the people you talk
Oh,
to,
I'm
especially
sorry.
him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I would say that is something that I could be more supportive of, because what I'm seeing is a structure and area that is going to catch fire more likely the way that it's proposed
Yes,
from the neighbor next door having a fire. And if you scale this back and only had the garage, that is conforming more to what we see in that neighborhood.
exactly,
All right,
yes.
but we're not
that's-
seeing
yes.
a two-story above the garage. In fact, this is actually a little bit more than two-story, I think, with the height of the structure. But if you were to scale back the second, anything above the garage and bring all that to one story, I think as long as the fire department said it was okay, that is an area that I have to still get 100% that the fire chief is okay with.
Right, and I
Yeah.
appreciate your comment, because that's exactly what we're here to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we need to hear from the board,
Right.
what you would like, because, you know, she's gotta build something, right? And she's homeless, and, you know, her lease is running out from where she is, and, her nephew's living in Florida temporarily, because he has nowhere to live, and, so basically, that's what we need to discuss. We need to provide you with a plan that the board is acceptable with, that would be okay. So if we eliminate, you know, if we start and say we'll eliminate any second story over the garage area projected, garage wall projected front to back and
Mhm.
eliminate that first story, eliminate that second story, and then rework the internal components of the house, to be
Yeah,
more
we need a
conforming.
little bit of feedback from you guys, I guess is what we're trying to say, because everything that we've presented, we're getting pushback, which is fine, but we just need to know what you are
Well, basically,
agreeable.
what we're saying is to try to get to more conformity of the side yard setbacks, push the property back to where, beyond the garage, so that you're in, try to get into that 10-foot range, going back, and come back with plans that, that sort of reflect that.
Okay, so basically.
So then we can present that to
Okay.
everyone involved, including the fire department.
Yes.
And making sure that, they have a better sense of, safety is our main concern here.
Okay,
Not only for the current resident, that unfortunately the house has been damaged, but also the surrounding neighborhood.
so then let's ask the question about the easterly side. There's a gravel drive, and there is more than a 10-foot setback, on lot 20. So with adding that building addition in the rear, extending that existing condition into a proposed variance condition on that side of being 4.5 feet, would the board be acceptable for that area to be 2 feet, to have 2 stories?
If you're asking for my opinion,
Yes.
I would say that the approval shouldn't have any additional overhang on either side in respect to the neighborhood and in respect to the issues here. I would look for something that does not increase any loss of any of the setbacks that exist.
So, well, I was asking to follow what the existing line of the house on that east side.
Yeah, it's stay within what is there. I mean, it's
And
there
that's
now,
what I'm
right?
saying. Right, what's there now.
Yeah, but don't add to it.
Allow that one to have 2-story, because then we would have,
That side doesn't seem to be as threatening from everything we can see.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right, and that, to leave that structure on the right is set back
I could,
compared
yes,
to, yes.
it's definitely,
Mhm.
we have plenty of clearance and there's less harm.
That's a concern.
And apparently, I can't say, but apparently that didn't cause the fire didn't cause any damage to that dwelling.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
From what I witnessed when I drove by and I observed, when I went to see the plan as to what was being presented, when I went there, the house was set back
Mhm.
and there was no fire. From what I saw, there was no fire damage to that.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have any ideas?
I think I gotta agree with Frank about the fire, because that house in January on Ramapo Ave, melted the siding and could have put up the house next door.
Yeah, it can happen anywhere at any time.
Exactly.
And that was approximately 20 feet away.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And firefighters could get to that with easy access, with water access to the, yeah. Where here, you couldn't, how are you gonna fight it?
Right, understood.
I would also ask, in terms of understanding the height of the building, is that in conformance with everyone else in the neighborhood? Or am I seeing 3 stories here? I'm not sure of what I'm looking at with the height. What was the purpose of the 3rd floor height?
What is the structure height? Which one? It's just 34
The proposed height for the new architectural plans shows 34 feet, 6.5 inches.
Is there a walk-up attic there? What's the 3rd floor consist of? Just an attic? I'm not sure why there's the need for so much height in the 3rd area. That doesn't, in respect to the neighborhood, I haven't seen that, and I could be wrong. So if you're asking for recommendations, I would just kind of look into whether or not that could be scaled back as well in your plan. Or if you had a specific reason and purpose that you needed that much height in your attic.
Okay, we will, take that into consideration. I'm looking for anything to see if it's under the 7 foot that would allow it to be non-habitable. And they have a, 8 foot, height from the top of the 2nd story to, the collar ties. That's, we can, I don't want to speak on behalf of the client, but that could be reduced.
Yeah, because I'm just gonna say that when you have a building of this size in a very small lot, this is great for a larger lot. I mean, that would be 75 by 100 lot would be fine in this neighborhood or this town, but, a 50-foot lot, it's that much height, it just could be, a challenge for the neighborhood, in my opinion.
I will pass that along to the architect, and add that into the comments
Yeah,
requested
and we
by the board.
appreciate this feedback, because we want to be able to present you something that you'll approve. So the more feedback we get, the better we can be prepared next time to give you something that we think that you would be more agreeable to.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that we move this to the next meeting. That will give you enough time.
I was gonna say, is there any other commentary from the board about, so that when we come back next time, that maybe we can get it?
I think I'm sorry. I think, your ideas are very reasonable. Unfortunately, the architect is not here today because of the conflict, but I will convey to him these thoughts, and, see what, he comes up with to bring to the table before, the next hearing.
I just want to see if,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know if my client wants to say anything.
Yeah, he's sworn us.
So they have to make a
So you want to continue?
Yes, can we please carry to the next?
Yeah, so this will be continued to the meeting in September. No further notice will be given.
Can I ask if the, board would require me, the, engineer to be at that hearing? Or, it would be okay if I did not attend?
I would suggest that maybe you bring anybody that you can
Okay.
support your application.
Next time I'm gonna try to get the architect,
Right.
since I think a lot of these questions are, design in nature.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's yours. That's yours. Okay. I'm gonna keep.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward to POA 23-04, William and Ashley Thorne.
Just one? So last meeting.
They were both here at the last meeting.
You're at the last meeting, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you're still sworn in.
Both-
I was sitting back
You
here.
were back there?
Swear in.
He's not
He
here.
didn't swear in.
Okay, you're,
Okay, sworn in. Please state your name, spell your last.
William Lawrence, Lawrence.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? This is what's up.
right. So this is the continuing, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the continuation. Spoke with Mr. Polly afterwards, and he looked at it and said, in fact, the issue was that the flood hazard was dated the exact same day as his report that said you're gonna need something more. He looked at it and said where the structure, where the construction is being proposed does not need any further approval from him, he's okay with it. So to the extent we thought that he was appealing Sal or needed further relief, that's off the table. No, they're okay with that.
Okay.
So it's simply the application that I
Right, so
presented.
now we're gonna go back to the application. And basically, you are looking for variances. I'm gonna let you explain what you're looking for. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So basically looking to put an addition on our home because with two women, I don't know if my husband can take this one bathroom anymore. So really looking for, proposing that rear yard setback with right side yard addition. But what is in question is the rear yard setback, which goes 8 feet. So the requirement is, I guess, 40 feet from neighbor's property. With that 8 feet, it's only going to be 32. So really looking to go back on the existing structure.
You have no issues on the right-hand side where the construction is gonna be, gonna have that setback?
Yes.
No issues.
Oh,
I have-
sorry.
Go ahead. Oh.
Yes. Yes, there we go. Yep, you can just,
Oh, great, I was going to do.
So, I guess what we have on the screen, just looking at the first floor, where I'm proposing is right by the pantry, that back area, going back 8 feet onto the neighbor's property. Towards the neighbor's property. Sorry. On the neighbor's property? Oh, my architect. But, yeah, that's really all I'm asking for, is that
8 foot.
8 foot back.
I have no questions for the applicant. Does anyone have any questions regarding the request for the setback?
No.
Anybody?
No.
Okay, so, and I just want to note that there are no concerns from the police, the MUA, or who else gave us? And the fire department, and Sal. So that's all in order. So I will open up the application to the testimony of this applicant to the public. Is there anybody from the public that would like to come up, talk about anything about the testimony given? There is none. So then can I get a motion to accept or deny the application as presented?
I'll make a motion that we accept the application as submitted.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Okay. Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Abate?
Yes.
Ms. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Mr. B?
Yes.
Mr. Fagula?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so congratulations on your project.
Yeah.
We will now let the, Andrew explain to you what's next.
So, as you can see, nobody's here. You can gauge on yourself the likelihood that someone will go to court and try to challenge this. What happens next is that their next meeting, there'll be a written resolution. They'll vote on that, which essentially says exactly what you did here, and then you have to pay taxes and get any other permits. That then gets published in the paper. Anybody from the public can come and challenge that 45 days. So that's really when you're really safe, but you can gauge for yourself the likelihood of that. So you can, if you need your permits, you want to get them before that time period runs out, you can go and sign a waiver that essentially says, I understand that maybe someone's going to go to court and challenge it. And then you can start your building process now. Otherwise, you wait until next month and the resolution will be adopted and then published in the paper.
Okay.
And we ask that you give Sal a few minutes to put together all his documentation that he needs for permits. So just give him a few days, at least.
I know Sal sees me very often, so I'll give him some time.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you so much, I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Good luck, congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Okay.
Sorry we couldn't do that last month.
Thank you, though.
Thank you very much.
Okay, new unfinished business.
Contact you.
Jared is not here to give us any open space, updates.
What about Savastino? Don't we have to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, the resolution.
Resolution.
I apologize, thank you.
Good, Sharpie.
Good, sharp, keep me honest. Okay, can, everyone had an opportunity to read the resolution for BOA 23-03, Willow Avenue.
He's ice cream fried.
Are there any corrections? If there aren't any, can I please get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Who seconded the vote?
Yep.
Thank you. Please, your voice. Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Abate,
Yes.
Ms. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Cross,
Yes.
Mr. Rowan,
Yes.
Mr. Bade,
Yes.
and Mr. Fagula.
Yes.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, so as I previously stated, Jared usually gives us an open space, update. He's not here, so we're gonna ask him to present that next meeting. We do have some new business that we need to discuss, and I'm gonna turn that over to Andy.
Sure. This deals with members that are not present at meetings. So it doesn't really matter if you're not present for 2 meetings in a row or 3. If you miss 4 meetings in a row that you're not excused for, then your seat is deemed vacated, and that's it, you're off. The board has to notify, and this is by state statute, has to notify the governing body, and that will then, a new appointment will be made. So that means you have to be excused. What does excuse mean? Excuse can only be done by a majority of the board, so you need 4 votes to say, yep, that is a legitimate excuse. So calling up and telling Carm, this is my reason, doesn't do it, there's gonna have to, and again, it's only relevant to the extent that if that member is gonna miss 4 in a row. If you miss 2 in a row, maybe you want to, to make it clear that you're excused, but if you miss 2 and then make another one, doesn't have any real relevance. But to the extent that a member is missing several in a row, in order to be excused and not count toward the potential for having your seat deemed vacant, it has to be excused by the board, which would be telling, asking the board, explaining why you weren't there, and the board voting, probably at the time of the minutes to indicate, the minutes should indicate that the person, if in fact the board so chooses, that the person was excused, not simply absent. Hope that explains it. If you need some more, I can do it more. And by the way, you can, if it's and I don't know why the legislature used this, a legitimate illness, you cannot vote no, you have to excuse. So anybody that's has a legitimate illness, what does that mean? We have HIPAA, you're not gonna make, I don't think, you're gonna wanna make your board, each of your members explain in public their legitimate illness. They can explain it to you. If you need to do closed session, we can do that. But that's the only, you cannot say no to. That's in the statute. Everything else, it's, it wasn't a good reason. Really, it's kind of left up to the board, what is a legitimate excuse?
Yeah, I do have a question. So if we get to a point where somebody's absent 4 times, but we haven't, say, the first of the 4 meetings excused it, do you know what I mean? They were just, in other words, has time passed to where we can't go back retroactively to then excuse it or
You can do
consider
it
it absent?
at the 4th, I would think that you can do it.
So we can go back retroactively to those prior meetings?
Yes, but once they have gone and not asked to be excused, and it's 4 in a row, they've gone 4 without being excused. I don't think the retroactive can save them, in my opinion. I'll review that, but my take of it is at that point, they have not been excused. So you wouldn't be able, so if you get to the 5th meeting and they've missed 4 in a row and not had a vote on the excuse for told people, they have not been excused.
Because I'm just afraid, like in the minutes, it says excused.
Well, that's the reason why we're not gonna do that
Yeah,
anymore.
Okay, right.
and nobody is,
If you heard the attendance, everyone was absent.
I did notice that.
Right, and that's the reason, one of the reasons why, is because we knew that this was gonna be discussed tonight.
Okay.
And on other boards, there are similar things that we wanna be making sure that we're in conformity with, so that we're all doing the same thing. And one of the things that we came out
and saying the word absent is gonna be. And then, when the board member comes back and asks to be excused, what's the reason? And then the board will make a determination by vote if it is excused or it will stay on the books as absent.
Okay, perfect.
This is going
Thank you.
forward.
And again,
That's all.
nobody has any of these that are 4 in a row, so it hasn't triggered anything, but from here on in, it'd be a good way to do it.
And that's why the word is now gonna be used as absent, not excused.
Perfect.
Okay?
So it's 4 strikes and you're out now.
4 in a row, yes.
4 in a row.
4 and you're out.
Or you're out.
Not
4
three.
absences in a row. Any other questions for Andy?
Well, it's 3 strikes, you're out in the old bowl game.
4 here.
He adopts the state statute, standard which is 4. You
Okay.
can make it shorter, you haven't, but I know it.
No, not more than 5. Okay, all right. Moving on, public discussion.
Is there anybody from the public that'd like to come forward and address the board on any topics? And I see,
Oh, here we go.
come
I
on.
just came to introduce myself. I bought 227 Hamburg, the white building on Hamburg Turnpike, that old Victorian. I'm actually Mark's neighbor.
Ah.
Former neighbor. And baseball team, same baseball.
There you go.
No, I just came in to see what's going on in the town. I'm from Wayne my whole life, pretty much, although I lived in Riverdale from 2000 until 2007. I built that big house on the cliff on the other side of 23, up in Stoneleigh. And then I sold it in 2007, and I coached sports in town here for a couple of years, baseball and wrestling. So I just came in to see, introduce myself and
Nice.
Welcome.
Welcome to the town.
thank you. I know the town really well.
Carmelina, did you get his name and address?
Your name, please?
Oh, Richard Seylaz, S-E-Y-L-A-Z.
I say, what, I'm sorry?
S-E-Y-L-A-Z.
S-E-Y, lazy. Got it, Richard.
Welcome. Okay, anything else? You good?
I'm good.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to close the public session.
Second.
Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
So be it. Thank you.
We got lots of paper.
You don't need this one.